we'll see something going on and park and come to it. We've never had that. It may occur at some point. But at least we would like to have the street closed April 11 from 5 o'clock to 7:30 so that we can do the flash mob. But we'd like consideration to close the street for each art stroll through the season so that we can have the artists along the curb. We can have some street art in that street between 5th Street and 4th Street down Central. And we can have hopscotch in the street so that people get used to coming downtown and strolling, and it's part of the whole Healthy Fayette County movement. So, questions?
So you're asking for permission to shut Central down on April 11th from 5 to 8:30?
Yes,
Wasn't it 5 to 7:30?
5 to 7:30,
Oh, 7:30, sorry, I heard you wrong.
And it was from 4th to 5th?
4th to 5th.
This was just a one-time for April, and you're asking for also the other months, the second Fridays?
We're asking for a decision for April at this particular point. We'd like you to consider allowing us to have the street closed May, June, July, August, September, and then October for the street dance. Last year, we did have it closed 2 times, April and October. In fact, Jim, I think you made the motion for us to close on October so we could have the band and people dancing in the street. But we really want to bring the artisans in because we think that will be a draw.
Well, myself personally, I have no problem with the April, but, I think it's kind of a stretch for us to prove it out long range right now. What does the rest of the board feel?
I'm just trying to remember, so we only did it the one,
22nd?
twice
I
last
think,
year.
Last year.
And the reasoning that we only did the 2 was?
I think it was because of the flash mobs and the dancing in the street. That's why we did it 2 times last year. That's in October and April.
The alternative, Jim, is this plan, which Jeremy Wilson did for us, which would be to close 4th Street from the alley right behind, that goes along the canal house to the corner. Because there are places to put the art there. We have to figure out how to make it, getting people to walk is part of the whole reason we do it. We ended up combining it with the opening exhibit each month, the new exhibit for the Art Association. But this would be a good alternative that we could do, and we could still have the artists.
Myself personally, I don't have a problem with the 4th Street one. I'm just kind of curious on closing, the second Friday of every month for several months, because we don't really know in the future somebody else may want to come along and use downtown for something that we're interested in. So myself personally, it doesn't mean that we're against what you're doing. It's just I hesitate to make that, decision right now as far as anything beyond April.
It does set a precedent. I don't have a problem with the April and October either. But
What about the 4th Street?
I don't know that you can really say, I'm not trying to be critical, but I don't know that you can really say that you've not had anybody drive down Central and park to go to the activities, because they may go down a side street and park someplace else and come in. And so I think...
We ask. We've asked. We started asking.
Well, but the more visibility, the better. At least someone would know what. Like I said, I don't have a problem with 4th and 5th Street for the 2, especially with the flash mob. But it's
The 4th, I didn't hear.
no, I
you.
mean between 4th and 5th for the flash mobs, and I don't have a problem with the 4th Street issue too. I've been to several of the art strolls, and I've been out. I really haven't noticed enough noise that I couldn't have a conversation, to be honest. And, I mean, it's up to the whole board.
I agree with Diane.
I see both, you know,
So have we had any issues with traffic flow or any concerns, the times that, I mean,
I didn't really notice that the traffic was heavy. I think when people see that something's going on down there, they kind of tend to get off the route anyway. If they're not interested in going, they would turn off and whatever. When I was there, I've never seen a traffic jam to where you couldn't get across and whatever. It's, like I said, it does set a precedent. If you have somebody else that wants to do it, well, you did it for them, and then somebody else, you did it for them, and you have that issue too. But
If we could have 4th or 5th closed in April and October, so that we can have the flash mob.
and the street dance, I can, yeah.
And then close 4th Street from the alley to the, and then see how that grows.
From May to August, you're
If
talking?
that grows and become, then we could come back and look at closing.
You're talking about closing 4th Street from May to September, and then 4th to 5th,
Yeah.
October and April.
And if we don't have the response, having the artisans around 4th Street and the Canal House, then we can say it's not gonna work. But we're not gonna know unless we can try.
Right. Yeah, you need to try it to see if it works.
So if we could do the 4th Street piece,
I don't want to be critical either, but I kind of have an issue with people being afraid to come downtown. I mean, we have Celebration in the Ville, we have other things that have come downtown. I've never been afraid to come downtown. And I mean, I
I can only tell you what we've been told.
yeah.
Mayor, if it's okay, I'm going to make a motion, we approve the request for April, and also for one in September, October.
So,
And, yeah, and then on the closing of 4th Street on the second Fridays of each month for, how long is that going to be?
May through September.
It
No, I
would-
mean the
it-
time.
Oh.
It would be 5 to 7:30.
5 to 7. Okay, I'll put that in form of the motion then, to approve 4th Street too.
I'll second the motion.
okay, let me make sure I get this correct. So you're, on April and October, you're wanting Central closed, and then the other ones you want 4th to 5th closed, correct?
No,
Or you want
between 4th on.
just those two events from 4th to 5th Street, not
Yeah, the
Central?
two events for 4th to 5th.
Okay,
Yeah, and it's only from the alley.
correct, that's
to
fine.
4th
I just want to make sure I got you clarified. So I have a motion and a second to approve closing on April 11th and October 10th from 4th to 5th Street. Well, not from 4th, from the alley to 5th Street, on 4th Street. Wow, I'm all messed
4th
up.
Street from the alley to Central.
Alley to Central, gotcha, okay,
That allows us to start getting the word out to the
Okay.
artists.
Yeah.
all right.
Thank you.
We have a motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Got me all confused, Linda. Okay. You know what? I got my stuff out of order. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. Item B, I have the opioid settlement grants. What we did on the opioid settlement grants, the numbers that come in, I've got several spreadsheets from the state. They never match what we actually get, so we have to kind of wait and just see what we get so we can reconcile everything. But what we did was we created, really two groups would come together because we received some and the county received some. And we thought the best way to do this is to pool our resources together and then maybe we can fund more and do better projects. The money is very restricted. It has specific uses you can use it for. And so a lot of things don't qualify, some things that do qualify. So we met as a group. We received the grants, we all scored our own, then we come together and evaluate the scoring criteria and then allocate the funds. We had a lot more requests than we had dollars, so we had to be very frugal with what we had and we had to cut some stuff out. But here is the list of the awards. So we have Reed Health with $158,399, House of Ruth $107,512, The Hope Center, $75,000. Mount Zion, $42,000. Pathway to Damascus, $65,531.65. Fayette County Drug Court, $38,500, and Connersville FOP, $40,000. The reason we have the FOP in there was we have a program that's been running in the past that they went to the schools to teach. There was specific criteria, there was measurable activities with that. That group did not apply, and we want to keep that going. So we was able to come back and use the same dollar amount they did in the past to keep that going, because it is a program that works very well. The benefits are great, the results show that, and we want to keep that going. So we're going to do that through the FOP. Some of them, some funding is being done, not necessarily together. So we have restricted use and non-restricted use. We use our non-restricted use for really building up our police department for enforcement, and the county is using some of their non-restricted use for other projects in here. So it's not all city dollars and county dollars. This is just the overview of everything. We have the scoring criteria. I think the Board of Works already has a copy of that. And I just need a motion to approve the award so we can get the letters out to all the groups.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, you have a memorandum of understanding resolution that we come to an agreement on, and I just need the Board of Works to approve this so we can get to the contract.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is not on the agenda, but Hillary, come on up.
I apologize for not getting on the agenda ahead of time. My name's Hillary Wright, and I'm here as a volunteer representative of the Festivals Committee. I'm asking for permission to start doing previews of food vendors for Feast in the Ville that is being hosted by Celebration in the Ville. We are wanting to highlight out-of-town and local food trucks that are going to be competing this summer. And we thought a great way to do that would be to start hosting preview events in the downtown area. So what we are requesting is that the food trucks be able to utilize the city parking lot on the side facing Fifth Street, where the electrical water is located. Running from March to April, it would be either a Friday and or Saturday, depending on how many vendors want to participate, or food vendors. And they would be, we would know ahead of time. We're trying to coincide with things that are already going on in the downtown area, whether it be karaoke or a band playing or an art stroll or something of that nature. And so we already have a vendor from Indianapolis that is interested in our first one, but we told them that we would have to ask for permission first. Many of you may or may not know Feast in the Ville is a food truck competition that branched off of the one that we had at the airport. So this year we are having it all downtown. And so we currently have food trucks that have over 30,000 followers on social media. So by doing this preview, it helps to get buzz going about the event in May. And in addition to our other associated groups, we will probably be looking at closer to a 50,000 follower base that we can advertise to and advertise Connersville. So basically, we're not asking for any money, any roads to be shut down, just use of that parking lot and cones be put up like the night before.
Did you say Friday night or Saturday night?
Friday or Saturday, just depending on how many.
Every
sign-
weekend from March to April?
Just having the option for that, we cannot guarantee that it will be filled
Up until the middle of May?
up until
Or
the end of
last-
April.
Okay.
And the first one we would like to have start on March 7th, if at all possible.
So we just need permission for the north side, north row of the parking lot facing
Yes.
Fifth Street.
That is correct.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Move on down to department matters. Mr. Wilson.
How you guys doing?
Hi.
Good, how are you?
Good. Have on the agenda to request some corrections to some bills that came in late due to postal service issues that Indianapolis was having. It was very clear that they sent their bills out on time. There's 10 customers, and by the post date, when we received them, they came in 10 days later. It's no fault of the customer, so I'm just requesting permission to credit these accounts. Out of all 10 accounts, the total in late fees is $409.75. So with the board's permission, I'd like to go ahead and make these accounts take off the penalty amount, because honestly, it's really not their fault.
I know that happened, there was a deal with the Indiana hub,
Yep.
or Indianapolis hub, and I've had friends and know many people who've had problems.
Yep, they had a lot of issues, so.
Yeah, it's not the local post office.
No, they sent their bills out when they were supposed to, but like I said, the issue was in Indianapolis at the hub, and
Yeah.
I don't know if most people know this, but your mail actually goes from, even if you're doing it in Connersville, it'll go to Indianapolis, then Muncie, then back to, it travels a few places, so. Just asking permission to credit those accounts and take the penalty fee off.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you. Everybody should have a copy of the utilities report.
No,
transfer
not
station.
reports yet, you go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Part-time hire, we'll do reports later.
Okay. All right, I think that's all I have.
You have a part-time hire.
Part-time for Dan from the transfer station. His
Yep.
last day was Saturday, so I'll be requesting to fill a part-time position at the transfer station.
Motion to approve this request.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Chief Jones.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First thing, excuse me, should have a letter requesting for approval of retirement for Battalion Chief Hughes. Bill Hughes served 28 years on the fire department, and he's currently Battalion Chief. His last day, his last duty day will be February 27th. We would like to congratulate him on his retirement, thank him for his service, and wish him well on his retirement. So I just need approval for that.
Motion to approve the chief's request, and as a board, we thank him for his 28 years of service.
Absolutely.
Have a
I'll second the
motion.
motion.
And a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Did he come today?
No.
Okay.
Now I have with me Braden Schaefer, who I would like to get approval to hire. Braden went through our hiring process last fall, did very well. He's 24 years old, resident of Fayette County, did well through the whole process, and was highly recommended by our committee. So I would like to, upon approval, start him March 1st.
So moved.
Motion to approve the chief's request.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Congratulations.
No problem at all.
Welcome.
Somebody else can call him.
Reports?
Yep,
Ready for those?
you're ready.
All right, monthly report for the fire department for January. We'll start off with overtime. There was a 3-pay month in January, so the total overtime for January, $10,823.40. Manpower shortage, portion of that, $7,740.20. The scheduled overtime was $2,177.28, and we did have a call-in. We had to call in for an incident. The total overtime for that was $905.92. We used a total of 392 gallons of fuel for the month for cost $1,443.53. Incidents, we had a total of 186 incidents in January. 149 of those being fire-related incidents, 30, oh, I'm sorry. Nope, those are backwards. I apologize. I didn't think that sounded right. It should be 30 of those fire-related, 149 EMS-related, and 7 auto accidents. So I apologize. You know, I didn't think that looked right. Moving on down to training hours, we had a total of 72 instructed training hours for the month. 61 of those were fire-related training, 11 hours was EMS-related training. We had a total of 10 inspections, and we had no hours of fire investigation. The only other thing I have, we are currently in the middle of accepting applications for another hiring process. Last day to take those applications are the 28th. We posted everything on our Facebook page, and I believe we've got 8 or 10 turned in so far. So hopefully we get at least twice that this time. The agility and written test is scheduled for March 8th also. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Bolos.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So everybody's got a copy of my month of January reports. I did include a letter. You guys see what our overtime was, but that is including part of the end of December. Any questions on the overtime? Gallons of fuel for December was 2,084 gallons. The total amount of incidents for January is 561. Any questions on those totals? As a department for training, we had 227 hours. That includes a couple of week-long schools. Our K-9 had 8 hours of training. He had 3 deployments in January. Traffic offense, agency assist down in Franklin County, and in our city, the resident search. As far as our detectives, they took in 16 cases in January. They have 11 of them closed. They took in 15 ICAC cases, and only 1 of those are closed, but it takes quite a bit of time for that. As far as our drug collections, we took in 75 grams of marijuana, 11 grams of heroin, 5 grams of meth, half a gram of cocaine, 17 various pills, 6 needles, and you guys see what the items of paraphernalia and other drugs are at the bottom of that list. Any questions on those? Just to make a note, on our 3 officers, they did complete their 40 hours. They're completing their FTOs right now, so they're riding with somebody and doing all that they can for now, and then hopefully I can get them on the road March 1st. That's my plan, but we'll see how the training goes. We are currently taking apps also until the 28th, so that's in the process. Any questions? Thank you.
Randy out there?
Thank you.
Is Randy out there, Wolf? Okay.
Thank you.
Director Wilson.
These reports, okay. The Connersville Utilities Monthly Report, just wanted to kind of hit on the wastewater treatment plant with the headworks. That building takes a lot of flow. That's the whole point of why it's there, to kind of reduce our CSOs, our outfalls, overflows to the river. But after some Googling, we took in 144.97 million gallons. And that's to get the broader picture of how much water, how much we treated at the plant. Everybody knows the size of a football field. You'd have to dig it up 58 foot deep to fill it up with what we take in at the plant over there. So Olympic-sized swimming pools, We could have filled it 220 times, and it's 660,000 gallons. So a lot of flow we take in at the wastewater treatment plant. Just kind of cool little visual there for anybody who's curious about how much we actually treat over there. The street department, we've had a lot of great weather these past few weeks, so been busy salting, sanding. We've had the guys on the weekends, mechanics on the weekends, everybody just trying to make sure the roads are safe. Again, I would like to just give them some credit. They've been doing a really good job keeping the roads clean with what we've got. So anybody have any questions on either of those two reports? Move on to the transfer station. We took in 14,000 for the month of January. The street and sanitation, we took 383 ton. Public disposal was 241 ton, and the total sent to landfill was 624 ton. Anybody have any questions on transportation report? I did have a late request here. This is going to be in regards to the Headworks project as well. It's from Klein Peter. Their contract, there's a not to exceed limit amendment to the labor standards contract. Originally it came out, they were supposed to have 104 weeks of construction, and we're looking around 132. We've extended the construction by a few weeks, so Klein Peter Consultants will need an amendment to the contract not to exceed $10,000 for his work that will need to be done on essentially 16 to possibly 23 more, I believe, payrolls for the Headworks project. So just requesting the board's approval to get that signed and sent back over to Mike Klein Peter, so he can continue to do his labor standards there with payroll.
It's something we do have to do as well.
Yeah, motion to approve.
And I've looked it over, everything.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Now I've got Thomas from Commonwealth here with us today. I said in the previous Board of Works meeting, kind of give an update on the water project and where we're at currently. Thomas will kind of let you guys know where we're at. If you have any questions, he should be able to answer them.
Please.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Thomas with Commonwealth Engineers. About 2 years ago, we were contracted by the city to come up with, write a preliminary engineering report to come up with potential projects on your guys' water system. We've since done that report, and with Brad leaving, Jeremy taking over, we're now getting to the spot where it's time to start going after some funding for some of these projects. So we sat down about 2 weeks ago with the utility, discussed those projects. The mayor and Jeremy had given us a kind of a ballpark figure of where they felt the city wanted to be on projects. So we came out with those. They'll be broken out into 3 portions. We'll have a larger water project that we'll submit to SRF. For that project, we will be hosting or having a public hearing at your first April meeting to satisfy the need to submit that. At your March meeting, I'll have 4 documents here for you guys to sign. That just basically says, you guys accept our PER, you're allowing us on your behalf to submit it to SRF, that we've identified a authorized signatory, and then there's another one that deals with the signatory. It's 2 different ones that deal with the signatory. So we'll get those over for you to sign, and then, like I said, we'll be here at the April meeting, and we'll just open and close a public hearing that satisfies that need. I'm happy to go into as much or as little detail as you want on the projects, but essentially we identified some old dilapidated lines. In the middle of that process, we're also looking at a lot of lead service lines that are in town and how can we get the best bang for our buck. Like I said, we're breaking this into 3 projects, but they're all going to work together. The larger one will be an SRF project, the smaller one will be a Okra project, and then that third one will be a lead service line project. And with the lead service line project, we're really going to look to maximize those dollars by identifying pipe that needs to be replaced, but that we've also identified lead, so that we're not pulling from this pot, still from this pot. We're kind of working them all together to utilize those dollars the best to the city's ability. And right now, we've made those recommendations to the mayor and Jeremy, and we're waiting on the financial advisor to come back with his recommendation on where, those kind of fit with the overall, depending on how grants come back, what that would look like for the ratepayer. So that's where we find ourselves right now.
So not having to be specific as to areas, I assume this could be just anywhere in
There's
the lines.
Yeah, there's hot spots that you guys have in town. Definitely we're going to prioritize when we look at your guys' lead service line inventory that we performed. We look at that map, and that map is basically broken down to red, green, and yellow. So when we look at the map, we say, well, that part's all red. Clearly, we need to start there. We'll look at what that would mean for your utility as well, in terms of, is it just because it's an old area town, or is there a benefit to upsizing the line there and renewing it? And then can we also do the lead service line in conjunction with that? So I would say that the priority is aging system, and then lead service line. Maybe those two can be switched. That's kind of how we're looking at it. Is where has the utility noticed that you guys have a lot of leaks at? Where are you constantly having to shut down water and a break? So prioritizing those areas, and if those areas overlap with lead service, then that's kind of the where we're trying to be.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, we did look at areas that we've had the most problems with. We've had some areas where the main breaks quite frequently. That means we got problems there, so we do have to start replacing those. We have pipes that are older than that, but they don't leak. So leave them alone. I mean, eventually they're going to have to be replaced because they're pretty old. But we have to hit our hot spots first. And the lead service lines, the reason we're doing that is that's coming through a mandate through IDEM. So we're not going to have a choice on these lead service lines. We still don't know the scope of that, to be honest. That scope constantly changes. But we do have to, we did have to do our inventory, and we got to have a plan for how we're going to start replacing those. So all this ties in together.
And as of today, I can't comment what the president will do tomorrow, but as of today, we still have access to, through SRF, $5 million. Of 2.5 of that is grant, 100% grant, 2.5 of that is 0% loan. So, like the mayor had mentioned, if we can find a spot that it serves the overall community well in terms of breakage and whether it's upsizing or just, allowing for better pressure, and it's also lead service, then, we have that ability to, because, as soon as we dig something up, if it's lead, we can't put it back in the same spot. It's gotta be changed. So, we might as well pull from this, either 100% grant, 0% interest, to try to get those fixed, rather than, pulling from this pot of money, which is not 0% interest, and we don't know what that grant dollar will look like at this time.
That's why we're looking at it. The money right now is more advantageous for us to go after now, when we know it's there.
Yeah.
We're going to be forced to do it anyway. But while the money is, I hate to say cheap, but it's cheap right now, that's when we really want to focus our attention on.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to look like in the future.
No.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief Harden. John's on the agenda's next, but he doesn't have a voice, so you can see he stepped out, so. We're not gonna let him talk. Might make some people happy, but you're up.
Yeah, kind of. I thought John was in there.
I threw you off.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So everyone should have a copy of my January 2025 report. So we had a total of 356 calls for service, so we're still pretty high as far as our calls for service are going. We're seeing a lot of just general illness right now. A lot of the flu is going around, a lot of that sort of thing. And I'll kind of touch on this in a minute, but with our population being a little older, they tend to not have the reserves to fight it off as long as some people do. So that tends to give us a lot more calls. Had a total of 4,088 miles for the month. You'll notice they're about halfway down. It says 0992, new addition. That will be the cert number for the new ambulance when we get it. I contacted the state because you have to have a 4-digit number. and you can't get the number until you actually have the truck, but you can't get the truck until you have the number. So it's one of those, I had to call, and I'm like, hey, I need this number. They're like, that's fine, you can use this one, because I have to get it lettered on the ambulance. It has to be listed on the ambulance, but I can't, so, one of those catch-22 things. So, I did do a pre-inspection on it yesterday. We found a couple of little things that needed changed and fixed, some paint issues, some decaling issues, so I did go up and see it yesterday in Indianapolis, getting some radios put in it, some of the finer points are getting done. So hopefully, next meeting, I'll be able to tell you we got it. So, it's been a long process. We're pushing 3 years right now, so. You can see our fuel usage and fuel tax rebate submission. If you look clear over on the right, it says 2,898. That is how much fuel rebate we got in 2024. I'd already done the 2024 report, so I just kind of threw it on there. So $3,000 isn't huge by any stretch of the imagination, but nothing to sneeze at, I guess. So, does anyone have any questions about the January?
Got a quick question on the paramedics.
Yes.
So you've got one leaving, so I got leave you with how many?
Oh, so I had 3 that completed the training in 2024. So he at, see here, 6, 7. I think I'm at 7 right now.
Okay.
And I got another one that's in school. So that'll be coming out soon.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a constant, trying to keep someone in school and all of that, so it's a challenge, but we're doing a lot better than we used to, a lot better than we used to. So, to his point there, I did have a letter of resignation before I go on to my 2024 report that I should have. It was on the back. Shane O'Laughlin took another position, so need to accept her resignation.
Motion to approve the chief's request.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And if I could go ahead and get permission to promote, I'm not sure exactly who yet, but to promote from a part-time up to a full-time.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. There you go.
Alrighty, so in January, whenever Mass did theirs, I couldn't really do mine and give you really great information on the 2024 report. There was just some things we just kind of have to give a little bit of time to play out. I'm just gonna kind of hit the highlights. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I can go deeper into about anything. Try to keep it around the same length, and if I start pulling a lot more reports, then it starts exponentially getting longer. So in the interest of trees, and your sanity and my sanity, I just kind of keep it about the same. So, we had 4,111 calls for service in 2020, in 2024, that was up 235 from 23. We had 53,271 miles, which is up over 5,000. We were under budget again. We generated just over $1 million in revenue, so that was up $61,000. You have 2 ambulances on order, one that we're getting here hopefully within the next 2 weeks, and the other one sometime in the summer. You can kind of see where we're at as far as our paramedics in school, and some of the highlights along there. So when I talked about the increase in calls due to the illness, so our number one age demographic with 22% of the calls is 70 to 79. And you know, a lot of those people just don't have the reserves to fight stuff off. So that's the reason we see that group being the biggest age category for us and why our runs are increased. The second biggest is the 60 to 69 group. 53% of our patients are female, 46 are male. Everyone always says, oh, it's Friday, Saturday night, I guess you guys are busy. Yeah. So Friday and Saturday didn't even make the top 2. So back again. So Monday is our busiest day of the week. I don't know why, but it's been this way for years and years and years. I watched this for 20 years during my career. Weekends don't hardly ever come into play. It had 16% of the calls. Tuesday was number 2 with 14%, and Friday was number 3 with 14%. So I don't, everyone always says, oh, weekends are busy, and it never plays out. So it never actually comes through. So a page that looks like, and I kind of had to pull mine out of order. The page that looks like this, and it'll be near your back. It'll be one of the back 5. That's what I was waiting on. That's what I was waiting on. So you'll go through there and you can see how many calls were billable, because not all of our calls are billable. So we did 4,111, only 2,400 of those and 17 were billable calls. The others were non-billable. You can see our revenue, the revenue per trip, ALS versus BLS, so advanced life support versus basic life support. And then I like trends. I can give you one number, and that doesn't mean anything, but if you look from 2020 to 2024 there on the bottom, it breaks it down on total charges, the amount of mandatory adjustments. So these are things that are beyond our control. This is what Medicare says they pay, or this is what Medicaid says they pay. We have no control over that. We do have a little bit of control over the private insurance, but that's very, very little. So then you have adjusted charges and then the revenue. So in 2024, we collected 85% of the adjusted charges. And that's pretty good. That's above industry standards. So we were down a little bit from 2023, but that's still very good. 2% of our patients are private pay, 9% are private insurance, and 65% are Medicare. So when I start talking about mandatory adjustments, 65% of what we receive is already predetermined by Medicare. We have really no control over that. We can charge $1 million. They're still only going to pay you what they want to pay you. So it's kind of a little bit of a bad position that you can't really bill what it's costing you. You can bill what it costs you, but you won't receive that. So. Does anybody have any questions? I know that's a lot of information real fast. But if anybody have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything at any time. So.
Thank you for the report.
Absolutely, it's a wonderful report.
And I threw some pictures on there because I couldn't let the park have all the fun put pictures in, so I could go, I think 4 or 5 pictures at the end, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent Steele.
Hello. Hi.
So for my report, some department team matters. We have Angie Roth. She started last Monday, so February 10th, as our new secretary. And then Kelly Moffitt moved up into her new role as assistant superintendent last week as well. Currently, we are hiring for pool lifeguards. We almost have our pool managers figured out. We have one more spot available that we're hiring for. And then concession workers for the pool as well. And I do have 1 or maybe 2 positions for grounds crew this summer. I have quite most of my team from last year is coming back this year. And then Discovery Camp counselors, and then sports concession workers. Logan may only need 1 or 2. He has pretty consistent workers for him, and they do a great job. So those are some department team matters that's going on right now. And then some current projects for this month. We've been training our secretary, and I'm also training Kelly, getting her familiar with her new position, and really getting her used to or familiar with the pool and everything that goes on with the pool. So we've been hitting that hard the last couple of weeks so that she's prepared for this summer. And then we have set up what used to be our conference room downstairs in the Miller Building. We've turned that into a living well, aging well room. And it has tables in there. They can go in, they can come do puzzles, play games. They did Singo Bingo in there last week. And it's just kind of a open room that they can go to and meet on a regular basis, on a daily basis if they want to. And they really like that. They'll go in and get a drink or some snacks or something. And so she's wanting to promote that within the next couple of weeks, more like on Facebook, and take some pictures of it and everything. But we're really excited about that room. It just didn't get utilized as much in the past. Every once in a while, we may rent it out, but not regularly. And then my team, we would use it very rarely as well. And so she thought, this would be a great use of that space. And so they're really excited about that. We did last week hold some games in there, and they really liked the smallness of that area. It seemed just better fitting for what we were doing. We were having card games in the banquet hall, but there's so much
It's hard to hear.
yeah, it's hard to hear. You can hear like a lot of echoing and everything. So they really liked having the games in there last week. We have been awarded the $30,000. I talked about this last time. Our $30,000 from Reed Health Community Benefits. So they will be coming in the next week or two to present the check to us and take pictures. We're really excited about showing them this room and some other things that we're doing. And so I wanted to let everybody know that we did get awarded that money. And then Summer Discovery Programming, Logan is overseeing that program, and he's getting prepared for the summer. Scott, if you're familiar with Scott Caldwell, he's been one of our managers through the past couple years. He is not returning this year. And so 2 of our managers that have been managers in the past, they are returning. He's done a fabulous job of training them. And so they're going to take over his role, and he was the same as, like, all 3 managers have the same responsibilities, but he was kind of the lead in those roles. And so the 2 managers that are returning, they already know what to prepare for this summer. And then we may possibly be promoting 1 counselor up to manager this year. She's been a counselor for many years. And so he's in the process of talking to her and seeing if that's something she'd be interested in. And then we just have weekly Living Well, Aging Well activities going on. You can always pick up a calendar at the Miller Building, or we post everything on our Facebook page. And then we also try to get it on our webpage as well. And then we currently have open registrations for soccer, baseball, t-ball, and softball going on. I also have, I think the mayor had in your packet a request for a couple bids that I had. I apologize that these didn't get in your packet before, but I was trying to get everything gathered together, and I wanted to get it in so that they could get started on this while it's still really cold outside. So the first one is for the Roberts Building. We have been working with Tim O'Rourke. He came in and he assessed our beams that are in the Roberts Building. And there's a packet in the back that explains a little bit about what he is recommending for the beams. There's currently 2 beams with 1 down the middle that was put in a few years back. That's kind of temporary. And he's proposing that we put 5 beams in all together with columns down the middle. And this is in the basement, holding the floor up above. And we currently have our occupancy knocked down to 100. It's like 285 or 300, but it's 100 right now. Do you have it?
I was going to say you're being kind on temporary.
Oh.
It was put in wrong.
Yes, the beams down the middle were put in
So
wrong.
I'm going to give you a little backstory on this and why I'm a little frustrated over this.
Yes, so,
When
go ahead.
when Chief Jones came in office, he didn't have an assistant, and prior to him, inspections just were not done because they didn't have the staff to do inspections. So a lot of our buildings in our community were never inspected to make sure they meet code. So Scott came through and was just doing inspections, actually doing a training there.
He was doing training.
And he's the one who caught this. So Scott, thank you for catching this, because this could have been a disaster for our community, because at some point, sometime, someone tried to go there and fix it, and just, they did not do it right. It was all wrong. So Scott caught it. We didn't, obviously, we don't know how to fix that, so we hired Tim O'Rourke, an engineer, to come in and look at it. And he's like, you need to get the load way down or close this building. It's that bad. So there is a sense of urgency there, yes, which is one of the reasons we got these, finally came in. We want to get this going so we can get started on this project, or we could have a catastrophe or hail that building.
Yes.
If you notice, that floor
Correct.
does bounce a lot. There's a reason for that. It's not done right. So kudos to Scott for catching this, but we do have to get this one done. There's no question about that.
Correct, yes. And thank you for clarifying that.
You were kind, I was forced, so I'm correct.
So there are two bids. I actually spoke with 3 different contractors, and one, he just said, I cannot do it. It's out of my wheelhouse, and he didn't have time to commit to it this year. Like the mayor said, it is something that we need to get done right away. The funding for this is going to come out of that funding that we had set aside last year's,
2023 bond.
yeah, the 2023 bond. So that's where this will come from. So we do have the funding for this. So we have the 2 here for the bids. And they've both looked over the recommendation from Tim O'Rourke and what he is wanting. And so I just wanted to I want to ask for approval to accept a bid. My recommendation will be Schaefer and Sons, given the price of the quote and everything. He's evaluated everything. He has insurance that's going to cover, if needed, that insurance to cover anything. And he can get started too.
So I got a quick question.
Sure.
So O'Rourke's a structural engineer, so the contractor is well aware that he's going to have to come back and look at what he's doing.
Yes, correct. And he's actually been in contact, both of these contractors have actually been in contact with Tim O'Rourke about this whole project.
Mayor, if I could, I'd like to make a motion, we approve Schaefer and Sons because they're about 20+ thousands cheaper than the other quote.
2,000 on the other one, so
2,000?
there's 2 of them.
There's,
We're just doing Okay, we're doing.
yeah, there's
Okay,
two
gotcha.
separate
Yes.
projects.
Yeah, they are
68,000.
20,000, yeah.
Yeah, 68,000, yeah.
So we have a motion for Schaefer and Sons for the $46,491.13. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, and then my second bid is, it's for the Miller Building. I had went last year to Reed Health and requested that they help fund an ADA family-style restroom be put in the Miller Building. And originally, someone was going to help and volunteer their hours and help with that. And that is no longer the case, and so I needed to seek out bids for this project. And so these are the bids that I was able to get, and the funds are already covered. It's through that Reed Health community benefits from last year. So,
Yeah, I'll explain this one too, so, sorry. I'm not as forceful on this one, how's that? I had an issue brought to me, we were doing a lot of ADA stuff, we were just looking at our ADA compliance issues. And one of the things we have at the Miller Building is you can rent the gym and you can rent the, what's the other, banquet hall. They each have their restrooms, but they're not a family ADA. And the reason you need a family ADA is a husband and wife, if one has an issue, I can't go in the women's restroom to help my wife, or vice versa. So in the middle is kind of the free area between the two. And right now we have, it accesses the gym side. There's a water fountain in there and we just store stuff in there. It's a perfect size for this. So we're gonna close that wall off, and on the hallway side, is that correct?
Possibly. I think we're gonna have to put the entrance in the gym.
That won't work there, is it?
I know. But,
At least
it
it's a
will just-
family
It
bathroom.
will, right. We will be able to have that as an option
Okay.
for someone.
At least it's a family
Yes.
restroom, so the husband can take a wife, or even take, parent can take their kids in the restroom, so that's really what brought this on.
Yeah, we did have a couple that came to us who is in that circumstance where the husband has to go in and help the wife because of the disabilities. And that's kind of build upon what was brought to his attention, was also brought to our attention during a meeting with actually Brad and I, and was something that we knew we needed to be able to offer, and Reed was kind enough to provide the funds for it.
Make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second.
We have, hold on, we
Yeah, we
have
have
two
two.
quotes again.
Oh, I thought we did the
Quotes.
first.
Schaefer and Sons.
Yeah, they were
Hers was $15,893.
Would it make sense to have the same
Yeah.
contractor do both?
So they are cheaper on this quote as well.
Yes.
$2,000 cheaper.
Sorry, I wanted to clarify that, so go ahead.
Now I'll make a motion to approve Schaefer and Sons for $15,893 for ADA test room in Miller Lake.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Just one quick question.
Thank you. Yes.
With the support, is that something, I know you said it's gonna be done as soon as possible. Is that gonna affect anything in there that might have a capacity more than?
No, it should not
Anything that's
affect
scheduled.
anything. And we've kind of scattered the bookings out.
Okay.
And then once we have a date set from the contractor of when he can start, then we will also put that and try to
Block it
not
out.
schedule anything around that as well. We won't be able to rebook anything, probably unless it's needed by the contractor. Most of our events are on the weekend as well, which I need to speak with the contractor, but possibly won't work on the weekends, so it might be okay. But everything's gonna be done in the basement, and it should not affect what's going on upstairs where the events are held.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
Okay, anybody have any old business? Claims.
Claims for the city is $453,645.33. Payroll, $572,516.11. Utilities, $336,540.51.
A motion to approve claims?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Anybody from the public, everything they want to say? If not, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
A motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Have a good afternoon.